starting a new unit in the Art Appreciation Masterclass. We are in Unit 4, which is interpretation activities. And in this unit, we are going to talk about some of my favorite ways for students to interpret art using activities. So we're going to talk about kinesthetic activities, breaking art apart in different ways, memorization, close observation, and things like that. And these videos are designed to be really short and actionable with a couple strategies in each one so that you can just watch it and then go on about your day and make these things happen. You can find most of these activities and the activities for the next unit in the Art Appreciation Worksheet Bundle. So if you have not yet downloaded that as a part of your membership, I recommend you downloading that right away because those worksheets have a lot of these interactive activities that you can just have available and ready to go at a moment's notice. I'll put a link to those worksheets down below. In this video, we're going to talk about memorization, and specifically it is a art looking strategy called Charlotte Mason Picture Study, which is actually a homeschooling thing, but I really like the activity. I think it's really beneficial for anyone. So we're going to talk about that and as well as some twists and different things you can do with Charlotte Mason Picture Study. The whole premise behind Charlotte Mason Picture Study is you take an artist and you study that artist's work over a period of time. So you take Picasso and then every week for 6 weeks or a month or a quarter, you have a different artwork by that artist. And the activity is very simple. You show the students the artwork and then you have them study it for 5-10 minutes and really get a clear picture of it in their head. And then you turn the screen off or flip the artwork over, and then they have to describe it from memory. So I love this activity because it really trains them to look for all the details. And as they do this more and more, they get better at it because they start to realize, the first time they did it, they missed a lot of important details. And so the next time they're going to get a little bit better at it. And next time they're going to get a little better at it. And then also it creates this mental picture of the artwork in their head that they then can carry with them. So I've done this with groups of students before with Guernica. And I've done it with other ones too, but this was my favorite one. And because there's a lot going on in it, it's really interesting, and then like the way the characters are drawn, that abstract nature kind of adds another element of interest to it. So the students study it, and you just sit silently for 5 minutes, and you watch the students, and everyone that's not looking at the artwork, you're like, look at the artwork. You're going to have to know this later. And I don't usually tell them, the first time I do it, I don't usually tell them exactly why we're doing this. I don't tell them that I'm going to quiz them on what they see afterwards. But, just have them study. And then after you feel like they've been looking at it long enough, I never really set a timer or anything. I just sort of feel what's right in the classroom. And then I turn off the slide and have them either discuss it, so they tell me what they remember. And that type of discussion is really good for the students because they can hear what someone else remembered, and then that will spark something that they remembered, and they can sort of feed off of each other. And they remember more that way than if they were just doing this solo. There's a couple ways to do this other than just discussing it. One way is I have the students share what they remember, and then I drew it on the board as they described it to me. In my classroom last year, my whiteboard was where I projected my slides. So all I did was I outlined the painting onto the whiteboard. So when I turned off the projector, we had the picture playing there and ready to go with the right proportions. And then as the students described different elements to me, I would draw them on. And I know the painting really well, so I could kind of put them in the right place, but I would have them tell me kind of what to draw and where to draw it. And then I would just sort of sketch it in. And here's the results of one of my 7th grade classes doing this activity. Another thing you can do is after they've looked at the artwork, you can divide the students into groups, and then those groups have to recreate the painting. I've done this with Guernica, and I just gave students half sheets of scratch paper, and they had to recreate as much as they could. And the middle schoolers really got behind this when I told them there was a prize for who could remember the most things from the painting. They really buckled down and tried to remember as much as they could. So Guernica's a good one because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of cool shapes and lines and emotion and drama going on. This activity works really well for any type of painting. It works really well for landscapes, for narrative painting. Just about any type of painting works well with this activity. I like this painting for the activity too because there's a lot of different plot lines and stories going on. So there's things for the students to latch onto. And there's a lot of little details that they might not see the first time they look, but then the closer they look, they start to notice. Like the little girl in the down on the floor here, this strange little chair, the sculpture that's in the trees, little things that they might not have seen right away. And then after spending some time looking at it, then they start to notice. Another option is an abstract artwork. This one I've had good luck with teachers and have had them recreate the shapes and lines that they see using the right colors. And this is a really good one for proportion and composition and really thinking about how the different elements of an artwork fit together to make a pleasing composition. Another thing you could do with an artwork like this one is during the looking phase, you could pass out construction paper to students and scissors of the colors in this artwork, and then have them cut the shapes of the artwork out from the paper. And then once you take the artwork away, they then have to arrange those shapes into the composition that they remember. So they get to cheat a little bit with the shapes, but then you still take it away and have them remember how all the shapes work together. Then you could take this even further and then rearrange those shapes into other compositions, which will put them in the same thought process of an artist when they're creating a composition. How do the shapes and colors balance each other to create something that looks good and looks nice? And what are the different ways they can do that? But it all starts with really close observation of a work of art. Try this out with your students and see how it goes. If you come up with another alternate variation of this activity, I would love to hear about it. Please post about it in the Facebook group or send me an email.